Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Bowman, the Subaru plant in Lafayette, Indiana, which is in my district, has been a zero landfill facility since 2004, and that reflects a commitment by the company to have as little environmental impact as possible. Can you elaborate for me what Dow and the plastics industry in general has been doing to work with the front-end sustainability idea and not just the back-end sustainability in producing products?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Congressman. So at Dow, I can speak specifically. We've had a series of 10-year sustainability goals now, and we're in our third generation of those that go out through 2025. And the sustainability goals that we have at our company are really around defining blueprints for designing sustainability into the future. So when you talk about plastic circularity in particular, a big initiative that we're very involved with is design for recyclability. How do we help our customers? How do we help the marketplace design products that can be recycled in the end? Today, a lot of packaging, as an example, has gone to very complex structures which create problems for the recycling industry. And so what we're working with them on is all polyethylene type structures, as an example. And the reason we're doing that is because polyethylene is one of the largest collected plastics today. So if we can get more materials into common materials that can be collected, that can help with increasing plastic recovery and plastic recycling. This is one example. We have a lot of initiatives, material science in terms of increasing resins that can incorporate recycled content, as well as end market. We're working on new market applications so we can create new large volume applications to create these markets that people say don't exist. This is where we're spending a lot of our time.
Thank you. And continuing on in that same vein, in your testimony, you discussed the benefits of chemical recycling. What's needed to scale up and bring down the cost of chemical recycling and make it more viable in the United States, do you think?
Very good question. One of the things that we're looking at aggressively is how do we address that very topic of scale? When you look at the petrochemical industry today, it's been capitalized around very large fossil fuel deposits. When you talk about using plastic as a feedstock, plastic is everywhere. So a significant challenge that we're working through and trying to address with value chain partners is how do we aggregate plastic and bring it to a central location so we can get the appropriate amount of feedstock to build the appropriate scale we need to be meaningfully effective. At the same time, we're working on the capital intensity equation to try to bring down the capital intensity per metric ton of product produced so we can put feedstock recycling, locate it where the feedstock is, in this case, waste plastic.
Thank you. Another question, if I got time, I think. Dow and the other companies are investing heavily in new sustainable material and in recycling technologies. What's the market incentive for industry to invest in that in research in that area?
Well, quite frankly, society is demanding it. The plastic waste issue, you can't turn on the television, you can't go to the internet without seeing it, and society wants solutions to this. So we look at this as, yes, it's a big challenge, but it can be an opportunity for those who want to make those investments today and work towards addressing the problem of the future. So this is how we see it. It's going to be absolute, and it's where we're putting a lot of time and effort.
Thank you. One last question, if you will.
Sure.
How would developing standards for plastic materials and recycling help advance the industry in the United States and maintain America's leadership in that field?
Standards in what regard?
I was thinking about any of the things that relate to regulation of the plastics or the quality of the plastics.
Yeah, thank you.
And so on.
So one thing that will help certainly is to create definitions around what recycling is. Today, when we look at what people want and require, it's high-end recycled material. That's not going to be possible without advanced recycling technologies. Today, there is no universal definition of recycling. And as we look to bring forward new technologies, we want to make sure that technologies like pyrolysis, gasification, solvolysis, those types of processes are included in the definition of recycling. And this will be increasingly important as people look to put policy around. We know there's states that are having these discussions, and if they start putting policy around recycling targets, definitions will follow. And we want to ensure that there's broad definitions that don't preclude technology.
Thank you very much, and I yield back.